What is going on, guys? This is the Bogey Free podcast for the RBC Canadian Open. I am your host, Evan Cheney, today joined by my co-host, Matt Jones. How you doing today, Matt?
I am doing pretty good, man. We were just talking about it. Pretty fired up. This past week was awesome. I mean, we got, I think, 4 or 5 more events before the FedEx Cup playoffs get kicking off. So we're doing good.
It's that soon already?
Yeah. The last week in August.
Then they play a 2-month playoff.
I'll actually be at the first event too.
Really?
Yeah.
What is the first event on the FedEx Cup tour or like the playoff?
It's the Northern Trust, and it's like maybe 10 minutes from my house.
Okay.
So I will be on the grounds doing my thing.
That's good to know. And you'll have field reporting for that week.
Yep.
I shall put you on field reporting duty.
I'll be the correspondent in the field.
All right. Yeah. Until then, we have this week's tournament all the way in Canada.
Yeah.
Glen Abbey Golf Club. Actually, before we talk about this, let's just talk about last week's tournament for a bit.
I was gonna say that's like a slap in the face to Jordan for just skimming over that.
Well, yeah, he's an alright golfer.
Oh my god, he's the GOAT. I hate.
He's okay.
I hate. Did you see how much I was like railing against all the Jordan hate on Sunday on Twitter? I don't know if you.
What was there to hate though? Like that,
dude.
won.
Everybody like going into his round. I think he teed off like 9:30 Eastern time. Going into his round from like 8 to 9:30, it was just an hour and a half of me like just searching people out and fighting them about like just shitting on speed. Like everybody like complains about him. I'm like, you guys suck. Like kid's 23 years old. Like he's turning 24, I think, tomorrow. Like he has 3 majors, just one of the most talented guys. The way that he won that tournament on Sunday was bananas. Like that 13th hole, that drive was like worse than, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a drive that bad from a professional. Like I've been watching golf my whole life. That was brutal.
What was that? Like was that a 45-minute hole? Like that whole thing, I saw it took like 45 minutes.
Yeah, probably from start to finish. Yeah, I mean, poor Kuchar is just sitting there taking a knee. Those poor old knees with that Skechers support. He just couldn't handle it. So, I mean, there was no way he could have won. Like, Spieth playing that way, like, he just had to be all right, well, not my day. Kuchar couldn't have done anything. I mean, I felt bad for the guy because I really do like him also. You know, it's easy to root for the guy. He seems like a nice enough dude, and he plays well. He's getting up there, and he's still competing with some of these young guys, which is great. But, I mean, the way that Spieth bounced back from that, even to bogey that hole, like even if they would have ended up in a playoff and he would have sort of struggled after that, like that would have been impressive. But he went what? Birdie, eagle, birdie, birdie after that? Like, it was nuts.
Yeah, it was a crazy round. That whole Sunday was
fun to watch.
But we have this week's tournament.
Yeah.
Now, and I mean, you have some of the same guys returning. You know, it must be difficult. You know, going from what is it? Where? God, what was the exact?
Yeah, so they're going from England to Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, I couldn't. Well, they're going from London to London. If you really want to think about it. Just, you know, it's not the good London. So yeah, you have.
Is there a good London?
Well, I hear the England London's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Never heard about.
I hear the food sucks.
Never heard about the Ontario London. I mean, I know that's a thing. I just never. Like, no one wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, I dream of going to London, Ontario." That's just my ear to the streets there.
I hear.
So yeah, let's just talk about this course for a bit. Glen Abbey Golf Club. Just talk about the course. Talk about what stats perform well here, and then we'll kick it off with some golfers.
Yeah, so I mean, we're looking at finally a par 72. It's a little under 7,300 yards, so it's not the longest course they'll see by any stretch, but we can definitely go after some bombers this week. It's a real like driver heavy course. There's not a huge penalty for missing the fairway that much, so that helps some of these guys. And other than that, I mean, same as always, you still need to hit the greens regardless of whether you hit the fairways or not. And yeah, I mean, there's on the course itself, it's interesting. There's 10 par fours altogether, right? 6 of them are between 400 and 450 yards, and 4 of them are between 450 and 500. So the PGA, shot tracker and everything keeps stats for those holes, so we can kind of see, even if a guy's par 4 birdie or better isn't great, like, do they do well on that distance of holes, which is good. And then same thing for the par 5s, 500 to 550. Basically, all 4 of them are reasonably close to that range. So we can narrow in a little bit more based on the distance that some of these holes are. So that's definitely helpful, because usually it's a little more spread out than that.
Okay, I don't know if you just saw me, but I had the touchpad on my laptop got really dusty. I don't know how. Like, just crap got on it. So I don't know. Like, what the thing you saw me reach over for was this, my computer duster. I had to dust off the touchpad, but because it was just really filthy. But yeah, no, I hear you. It's yeah, I pretty much agree with you there on those points. So yeah, let's just go to these golfers here and talk about the 10K and up guys, which there isn't many. There's only 3 that we have. We have Dustin Johnson, Matt Kuchar, and Charlie Hoffman. I mean, where are we going here, if anything? I mean, of course, Matt Kuchar is probably going to be, the most highly owned, I guess, of this range.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. DJ played just pretty poorly on Sunday, honestly. It was actually a little shocking. He kind of I think he tripled the first hole, and then he just kind of stumbled along to, I think he ended up 53rd or 54th, something like that. But people are still going to play him. He's still, he's still the number 1 golfer in the world. So, I mean, these guys are getting talked up pretty close to each other. They are the top 3 in tags on Fanshare right now, with DJ, Kuchar, and Hoffman in that order. Again, it's Tuesday night, blah, blah, blah. It could change, but right now that's what it's looking like. So I don't even know if there's a solid GPP pivot in this group. I think you just have to kind of go with whoever you feel most comfortable with. DJ has 2 runner-ups here in his last 2 starts at this tournament. And obviously he's been playing good golf all year, so it's hard to argue against him. Kuchar has done well here too, though. So, and he's played well recently. So I would honestly suggest sort of going, I guess, sort of with the field and spreading it out a little bit and just trying to find some cheaper guys. Because again, it's a weaker field, but there's definitely some guys in the lower salary range that I like. So it might be useful to sort of hedge up at the top up here and then differentiate as we get to the cheaper guys. That's kind of how I'm looking at it right now, at least.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hedge and leverage, I don't know if evenly spreading out your exposure is going to do it. I mean, if you really want to hedge and leverage, you really need to take a stand on one guy and go from there. Right now, it seems as if, Dustin Johnson will be your most highly owned guy out of everyone in this tournament. And, then you'll have Kuchar and then you'll have Hoffman, in the ownership rankings of those 3 guys.
Yeah.
What's interesting to see is that in the same Fanshare page, you see the sentiment ratings. More people are on Hoffman than they are DJ. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, so this is where the whole thing with fan share comes in too, where it's like I don't think you can reasonably, like, you definitely can't. I mean, not definitely, like, mathematically it might be possible, but I don't really see a way to be successful doing like DJ and Hoffman. So like some of these guys are gonna, like, it always ends up that one of the guys who's like top 5 tagged, if they're all in the same price range, one of them's gonna go lower owned. I think at the end of the day, Hoffman ends up less owned because, like, or if you can click on DJ or you can click on Hoffman, who are you going to click on? Like that sort of thing. And I mean, it is $1,900, but the salary drops so quick, like the rest of the way. I mean, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys over 9,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like the salary drops so quickly that you can kind of mix and match with some of these like 7K guys and figure it out. So I don't know. I'm having a hard time figuring out where it's going to go this week, honestly.
Yeah, and then you look at the rest of the field too, and it's like it drops even quicker. Like it drops very quickly down past 9K to 8K, and then it goes even quicker down to the 7K range.
Right.
So yeah,
so it'll definitely be interesting to see how the ownership kind of shakes out, you know?
It's an odd week for pricing, but I think we've established how we feel about those top 3 priced players. So we'll just go down to the 9K guys and Finau, Watson, Furyk.
Right, and then it's like, why are you even messing around? Like, just play Finau. Like,
yeah,
what does it matter? Just like
no. I'm agreeing with you here. Like Tony Finau seems like the easy call in 9,500.
He's gonna win. Like,
really,
I just feel like it's been so long since they've played. I mean, not counting the U.S. Open, when's the last time they played a par 72? And he wasn't even in the field for the Open, actually. But like, they haven't played a par 72 in a while. He's going to just feast on these par 5s like he always does. And I mean, the model that I put together has him second, and he's not that far behind DJ just off of like rankings. So I don't know. I'm just going to mash Finau and have like 60% of them. And maybe I'll throw in a little bit of Chappell. And honestly, I know it sounds like I kind of used it as a joke before, but like Furyk, I mean, a whole lot wrong with throwing him in like a cash lineup. I don't really see him missing the cut here. He's played well his last 3 starts. So, I mean, it's a consideration at least, just to differentiate a little bit.
I mean, it's a consideration, but then you see that he's 189th in par 5 birdie or better.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of his stat. I mean, he missed from like, God, he missed probably like 7 or 8 straight cuts. If we did like that, these are just year long. So if we did more like a rolling approach, like, you know, like Fantasy National, I just put this spreadsheet together. If you go over to Fantasy National, which I don't know if we've even talked about it, but it's a really great site. You could sign up for the beta, and they do, like, you could do the last 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever it is. And I'm sure if you put in last 12 rounds that he would pop a little bit more than it's appearing right now. For sure. And I mean, I didn't really mention it before either, but it's hard to sort of peg down this course. Like, the few times, like in the last 5 times that this course has been played, it's usually like 16, 17 under the winning score. But last year it was only -12. So if it doesn't go super low, I have a much better feeling about Furyk competing. If it gets to be a birdie fest and, you know, it's like 20 under is winning, I don't think he really competes. But if it's like between 10 to 13 ish, I think he can, I don't know, top 30. You know, it's not I don't think he wins, obviously, but I think he's worth just a little bit of differentiation where you figure the guy's probably going to make the cut because he's played so well here before. He has had 13th, 4th, 9th, 14th, his last 4 starts here. So it's just a thought. It's one of those like course history and decent recent form kind of deals for me.
Okay, and then do you have any interest at all in Bubba Watson and or Kevin Chappell?
I mean, it's kind of hard to trust Chappell right now. He's missed a couple of cuts. Sprinkle him in a GPP. I wouldn't be shocked if he did okay here. But I'm not going to go crazy on him. And I don't know. I guess Bubba was runner up here a couple of years ago, but he's just so tilting to watch. Like I used to love the guy too. Like I really used to enjoy watching him. There's just something about him this year completely turned me off from him. And he's been sort of up and down. Like if you want to throw him in a GPP, I can't really blame you, but I'm not gonna give it like my stamp of approval just because I don't really trust the guy, regardless of feet.
Well, we lose you over here.
You got me now?
Yeah, we're good. You got cut off mid-sentence. It was like skeevy.
Damn technology.
Yeah, really. All right. I think we're good with the 9K guys. We'll dip down to $8,900 to $8,500 golfers. So we'll go Keegan Bradley, David Lingmerth, Ian Poulter, Shane Lowry, and JB Holmes. Who stands out to you here in that range?
I mean, if you're gonna talk about driving distance, right, you kind of have to look at JB Holmes a little bit. His greens and regulation haven't been great, obviously, this year. But we talk about this every week. Like his strokes gained approach leads me to believe that he's reasonably close and just missing greens a little bit, and he's been good around the greens. So I don't mind JB at all. I think I don't know if I wrote something for DK Live or I put him in the article this week. I forget which one, but I wrote him up this week, so I'm definitely on him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I can't play Keegan. It's just impossible. I want to. Like, I want to like the guy. I do like the guy. I love watching him play, but it's just so tilting because I always am wrong on him. Like, whenever I'm on him, his putter just leaves him, and not that it's ever really around, but his putter just leaves him, and I'm just like, well, what the hell? This guy can hit every green, and then he 3-putt bogeys half the time, and it's just like so frustrating. I don't really want any part of Lingmerth. You can't really just outright fade Poulter. He's been playing so well recently, but he doesn't really have the distance, so he's gonna have to make it up somehow. So I'm not crazy about his fit, but his recent form has been pretty decent. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, he did a number on me in one of my in the friends 3-man league that I do with some guys I know. Yeah, he did a number on me that last week. So definitely have some negative sentiment against Ian Poulter right now, but I can certainly see the play going forward.
Yeah,
this week especially. What about a guy like Shane Lowry or JB Holmes? How do you feel about either of those two?
Yeah, like I said, I'll definitely have some Holmes. For the distance, he'll gain strokes off the tee. He does extremely well on par fours in general. So there's a bunch of those to sort of take advantage of. I'm a little surprised at how poorly he's scored on par fives this year, given his distance, but I guess that's a function of his greens and regulation too. But if he can strike the ball well this week, there's no reason why a guy with his distance couldn't compete. So I'll have a little bit of him. And Lowry, I'm just not crazy about the fit. He doesn't really have much distance at all off the tee. It's relatively accurate and he putts well, but I mean, I don't know. I can't really talk myself into it. There's so many other plays that I'm like that I feel strongly about that I'm not. I don't think I'm really gonna mess with him too much.
Okay, so I guess we'll move on from that range. Go down to the 84 to 8K guys, and there's a gem. There's a gem in this range. We'll get to him, but this contains Harris English, Graham DeLay, Ben Martin, Patrick Cantlay, Robbie Shelton, Grayson Murray, and Danny Lee. Yeah, who do you want to talk about here first? Because there's quite a few guys.
It's just Cantlay.
Yeah, see, I see him. I see Patrick Cantlay. You can't exclude Grayson Murray though. I'll let you talk about Cantlay.
Watch me.
I'll let you talk about Cantlay. I'll let you talk about Cantlay. But then Grayson Murray airtime here.
All right. So I don't really have any interest in English. I have no interest in Graham. He's been awful here every time he's played, basically. Ben Martin, no thank you. And then it comes down to Cantlay, Grayson, and Lee in this range. I don't want any part of Robbie Shelton. I have no interest. So Cantlay, I think he's made six starts this year because he doesn't really have a ton of priority. So he's played some of the weaker fields, but he's also been in like the API and stuff. Like he's played some stronger field events. I don't think he's finished worse than like 40th. And he's one of these guys when he came out that it was basically him and Spieth were the two people in the conversation when those guys were amateurs. So, I mean, this guy's the limit for this kid, and he's going to be super popular, I would imagine, this week. I'm just pulling it up now. Let's see where he's at. Bear with me. Yeah, I mean, he's got 22 tags, so he's sixth most tagged right now. I don't care. It doesn't matter. He could be 70% owned, and I'm still going to be overweight on him, because he's just too talented. I don't know. It's just wild. Like 12th in par 3 birdie or better, 16th in par 5 birdie or better, and he's 14th in strokes gained tee to green. Like, sign me up for 8,100. Like, I have no hesitation playing him.
I like the ballsiness there. So you had your Patrick Cantlay time.
Oh, God. All right, wake me up.
Now we need to have Grayson Murray time, because while everyone was focused on the British Open.
Oh, you mean where all the good golfers were?
Where all the quality guys were. There was a tournament played back at home, with Grayson Murray ending as the champion. I don't think anyone actually knew. Like, I don't think any of the golf people here realized this until Sunday when, he won the tournament.
Real quick, and I'll let you, I feel like Kanye right now, like I'm gonna let you finish, but people actually played DFS. Like, they had a slate for the Barbasol Championship, which is just...
Where was this? That's my question. Like, I don't think I could have even actively sought it out.
There was like, I forget who it was. Oh, man. Somebody was tweeting up a storm about Grayson and how they rostered him, and I was just dying because I was like, wow, like, how did you even have money left over to play these guys? Like, did any tournament fill? Like, how is that even possible?
There's so many questions you have to ask yourself. Like, you have to ask yourself that question. Then you have to ask yourself, like, what were the prize pools for these things?
Right. Wild.
Like, really?
Wait, hold on. There were 2 people in the top 125 world golf rankings at that tournament. I just want to point that out.
2. You really got yourself at that point.
That's wild.
Oh, it is. No, just like, what were the prize pools for that thing? Like, couldn't have been anything.
It must have been all just like head-to-heads.
I guess. I don't know. That was odd. But anyway, bottom line, Grayson Murray won. And I do think we have to consider him at least a bit this week.
Do we?
I mean, the awkward silence says otherwise, but
no, I mean
he's performed well in par fives this year. Like,
yeah, he has the distance for sure. I mean, if there's he's been playing well anyway on these shorter par 70s and 71s that we've seen recently, but I mean, you're right. He has the distance. It seems like he has a decent course fit. He's never played this tournament here, but I guess, I mean, I'm just not going to click on him. Oh, I'll find the $100 and play Cantlay. I just have no interest.
That's fine. You have every right to do so. However, I have every right to tell you that Grayson Murray's the better play.
How did this work out for you last time? I can't remember.
I don't think it worked out for me at all.
Did Tway beat Glover or no?
I made some very ballsy calls. I said Glover over
Tway.
Yeah, Glover over Tway. And then I said McNeely. I think McNeely did well.
McNeely did do well that week. I did have to give you that.
We some credit. I can predict second tier amateurs.
We didn't record last week, so I didn't get to pat you on the back for that. But I did want to say that to you. That was a decent call. I think he pretty much ejected at the Open, but he did all right the week before.
So there you go. I can hit on one. I can hit on one scrub golfer a year. That was my one. All right. So I guess we've talked enough about that range.
Yeah.
that interesting range of golfers. Yeah, let's just attack $7,900 to $7,600 golfers here. Again, who do you like? The names really don't they're not great. I mean, you do have guys like Tway who we both, or you have touted quite a bit on the show. I don't know about GOAT.
I'm gonna die on this hill, man.
But
oh my god!
At what price point would you stop playing Kevin Tway at 100% exposure?
$15K. No, I'm just kidding.
That's my question to you. You have to be $13K to consider maybe I have to go a little less than 100% exposure.
I mean, I don't understand. What is this vendetta you have against him? I
don't have any vendetta against him. I just think
he's made 11 to 15 cuts.
Tiger won in his heyday.
He's made 11 to 15 cuts.
Yeah, but
what more do you want?
I don't know if you consider him the GPP nuts at that point. Bill Haas made a bunch of cuts in a row. I wouldn't call him the GPP nuts at any point in time.
Yeah, but Haas doesn't have. I mean, I don't know. I would rather play. I'd rather play Tway over Haas. I don't think. Has Haas even? What has Haas done?
I'll tell you, he shot 9 over in the first 2 rounds of the Open. He really got screwed over by that wind on Friday.
Okay, so Haas, hold up. This is egregious. Haas and Tway basically have the same exact season going, and you're just crapping on Tway. Haas has made 12 of 16 cuts, so one more event and one more cut. And he has a 3rd place and 1 top 10 other than that, which is the same exact thing as Tway.
The thing is, for the longest time on here, I've shat on Bill Haas. If you remember.
You can't just turn.
So it's quite an upgrade.
My world is upside down right now. This is an outrage. You can't be doing this to me live.
You have to give me that. You have to give me this, right? You have to give me the fact that I at least I at least opened my eyes to Bill Haas, right?
Well, you finally listened to me on Kuchar too.
Yeah, I Haas and Kuchar are 2 guys you've turned me on, since we've started recording these pods, right?
I know, and
Tway,
now you're hot
the potential third. However, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure as to whether or not he should be number 3.
I'm at a loss.
Just sense the anger. It,
I'm at a
it's
loss.
it's I don't know. It's just something we have to mutually disagree on.
Well, in
Kevin Tway's
any
career
case,
upside. Like we could talk about his career upside all we want, but I don't know. I think even I can say that he has a decent shot at being, a very good value in this tournament at 7,700.
yeah, I mean, he was, and this also kind of hinges on, does this turn into a bit of a birdie fest? Because at the John Deere, he was 12th, and so I could see, him in a field like this keeping up with everybody and being a top 20 finish. Like that wouldn't shock me. He's played well this year, so I don't know. I like him quite a bit. And then Luke List right below him, $100 cheaper, is another guy who I really like this week. It's nuts that a guy who's third in driving distance can be so good on par threes also. Like when I mean, he's not he's not young, he's not old, he's sort of in the middle. But if he could just like put a few tournaments together and not be so inconsistent, like he could really make some noise in some of these tournaments. Like I don't know. I really like his game, and I think that all he has to do is run a little hot with his putter, and he can top 10 a course like this, especially with this field.
Okay, I know. I mean that's certainly a fair assessment. That's certainly a fair assessment. All right, I think we do need to move on a bit
Yeah.
off of that. Who else do you really like in that range?
I mean, I'll have a little bit of Woodland also.
Mm-hmm.
I like his par 5 scoring. Obviously, he has a fair amount of distance. He's 16th in driving distance this year. So he's definitely in consideration for me too. Other than that, honestly, I mean, I'm not crazy about anybody else in that range. Like I don't know. I could see, because of the distance angle and hitting some greens, I could see Hudson Swafford because he's finally made some cuts lately, but I wouldn't go nuts on him. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much where I stand, like 7,600 and up. Those three guys are or four guys are kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Makes sense. All right, we'll drop down to 7,500 to 7K. Pretty much just the rest of this field, like the playable guys. Who else do you like here? Everyone below 76.
Oh, it's Ches week.
Really? Is this when Ches Riavi finally does his thing?
Oh, it's Ches week. He has excellent course history here. He's won this tournament. It was a while ago, actually. It was 2008 that he won this tournament. But I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where he's had, last year he was 14th. Like it's hard to really, I don't know. It's hard to play him because I'm sitting here saying like, oh yeah, it should be driving distance, and he's like outside of the top 150 in driving distance. But sometimes a course just fits your eye and you can perform well even if it doesn't make the most sense. And he's sort of that guy for me this week. And Chad Campbell at the same price also has excellent history here. He's 2 26th place finishes, an 11th place, a 16th place. Like you can't argue with that, with those finishes. So the two of them are going to be pretty high up there on my ownership this week, I'd say.
I think the field is going to agree with that take on Chad Campbell. I mean, he's tied right now for third most tags, along with Tony Finau and Charlie Hoffman with 23. That's now on Tuesday night.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's definitely. He's going to be the chalk in terms of like these values. So
I hate this stupid fan share. I'm writing an email to Andrew. This is bullshit. I'm so sick of fan share.
Oh God. God forbid they report on the news that they advertise.
How dare they keep track of this stuff and let other people know all of my genius takes?
Seriously. I mean,
But-
with that in mind, though, like,
God, it sucks.
do you want a chalk Chad Campbell? Like, is that really something that sounds appealing to you?
I mean,
A guy who might be like 25 to 30% owned, depending on what GPP you play.
let's see. He has 25 tags and Reevy's at 18. So I don't know. Maybe I won't have any Campbell then. Maybe it'll just be I'll just pivot off
I wouldn't
of him.
say. Oh man, that jumped up. Yeah, that jumped up to 25.
Yeah.
Since we started. Jeez. Yeah, but yeah, he's gonna be that highly owned. Yeah, I would just pivot if I were you, because Ches is the same price, similar stat. I mean, they do have similar statistical fits. Am I right? Am I right in saying that?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Okay.
they're both top 50 at least in like driving accuracy, greens regulation, scrambling, strokes gained approach. Like they have very similar games. So I mean, if you're gonna tell me that I'm gonna get Reevy at like, I don't know, 2/3 or half the ownership, then I'm gonna take him for sure. And he's won here before. Like, how could you really argue with that? You know, or maybe I'll just go balls to the wall and just say screw it and go Smiley, and just take the distance angle and go with Kaufman.
Yeah, I'm surprised like people aren't advertising the win that Ches has here.
Yeah.
Over Chalk Campbell. Like, I don't know, it just seems odd. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if Chad Campbell's really going to be the higher owned guy, then I'd much rather go Ches in that spot.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, are you on really any? I mean, Ali Schneiderjans would be the other name that I'm really excited by here.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get DQ'd again, I think he's a good play. So annoying. I just hate all that stuff when it happens. But yeah, I think he's fine to play in some GPPs too. As we keep going, honestly, I mean, there's just so many guys down here where you're just like, do I really need to pay 7,000 for Matt Every? Like, this dude won the Arnold Palmer like 3 years ago, and he just gets to play in every tournament. Like, he's just been terrible this year. It's
pays to be good. Pays to be good 1 week.
I get, yeah. Well, take that from your boy Grayson, because now he has two free years on the tour because he beat Jim Furyk and, you know, the local tour pro from the Barbasol championships. It's so annoying. Whatever.
That's
Johnny Vegas won here last year too. Take that for what it's worth. He's missed like, I don't know, 75 cuts in a row now. Like, he's just been awful, and it pains me because I really do like the guy, but I don't know. I don't really see him putting his game back together quickly enough to do any damage here, but who knows? Maybe it's a mental thing, and he can, you know, he had success here, and maybe he can get through the cut and see what happens, but I don't know. I don't really want to touch him. And then I kind of have a couple in the 665 to 7,000 range, but not a heck of a lot if you don't see anything else here. I mean, maybe Patrick Rogers. He played well a few weeks ago.
No, I'm just scrolling down here in our notes. It's just not great. It really isn't. Like, when you really go farther down than like 72 for Ali, there's just nothing appealing here.
I do kind of like a little bit of Cam Smith, maybe.
Cam Smith.
Even I don't know if you want to go like full on recent form. I would say Mackenzie Hughes if you're just like punting and going all the way down here. I think that if you need someone at 6,800, he's probably the guy. Maybe a little bit of Harold Varner the III, a little bit of Seamus Power, but I mean maybe Kokrak too for the distance. But other than that, the rest pretty much dies down for me. I don't know, unless you want to play like Kramer Hickok or somebody way down here.
I guess.
Actually, wait.
Oh.
First of all, first round leader Scott Brown is in the field, so that's good. So get your bets in on him. I don't know what his odds are at Bet DSI right now, but I will definitely have some first round leader action on him. And tag ridings. There you go. Driving distance all day.
Well, there you go.
Put it in the books. That's the min play of the week, tag ridings.
There you go. That's all you need.
That's it.
All right. I think that does it here for us.
Yeah.
Cool. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at eChaney17. Matt Jones, he's at Matt Jones TFR. And of course, subscribe to both the podcast, Bogey Free on iTunes, and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's also Bogey Free. And of course, if we are not winning all of the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contest this week.